Welcome to the Tuttle and Kline Show.
If you want tickets, listen to Tuttle and Kline. Dude, I was just listening to My Sacrifice. That's Creed.
Yeah.
And I still, Kev, every single time I hear that song, I cannot think of the real song. I think of that parody song from about 22 years, 21 years ago in Birmingham.
Yeah. When we were giving away tickets.
We were giving away Creed tickets and a local lead singer of a band. I think his name was Drew. I could be wrong. I forget his name. But he sang an intro when we were giving away the tickets to My Sacrifice that is just one of those earworms in my head that I will never ever be able to get rid of.
Absolutely.
Ever.
Yeah.
Like I could go into full dementia because I guess that's a thing in my family. When I'm in my 80s, if I make it to my 80s, and I will forget like my kids' names, but I will remember, if you want tickets, listen to Tuttle and Kline.
Well, that's one way that teachers instruct students to remember stuff is to put it to music.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever use that as a trick?
Yeah. And it reminds me of that episode of Cheers when Coach is trying to help Woody with his geography. Albania, you border on the Adriatic.
We learn our facts by associating countries with music. Albania, you border on the Adriatic.
It's stuck in your head. It's just like some of the commercials when we were kids.
Oh yeah.
It's so insane and silly because this is like from 45 years ago, but I will always know that a Big Mac has 2 all beef patty special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
2 all beef patty special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
That's the first one that came to my mind too.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
So I like when I don't do it much, but sometimes the kids and they like the Mickey D's, and I got to tell you, I still get a hankering for a Big Mac every so often.
Dude, did you see that they were in the news just this past week because they are completely revamping their dollar menu? Yeah, it's dollar menu. It ain't dollar anymore. They're going to call it McValue. If I read correctly, their profits are down 40%.
Really?
Yeah, 40%. They were doing that $5 meal where you get a sandwich, chicken nuggets, small fry, and a small drink for $5. They were supposed to be temporary. It took off so much that they're going to keep that. And now they're going to offer buy one, get one for $1. Their CEO basically said, we're not going to define value for the customer. The customer's going to define value for us. So they're going to give you options.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a huge brand. You can't really fuck it up. You just got to figure out a way to, make it right.
Well, I was reading today because of President-elect Trump's Treasury Secretary pick that the dollar has fallen because of that. And I wanted to see if that was a good thing. And it's a great thing for companies because now they'll make more money off of the foreign markets. And the 2 examples that they use for American companies that make the most money off of foreign profit is Procter & Gamble.
And McDonald's.
And McDonald's, the 2 most globally recognized companies in American, franchises.
Yeah, the dollar being devalued has ups and downs. You don't want to be devalued too much. The last thing we want is it for not to be the international standard.
Right.
When that happens, when that happens, we become Venezuela overnight.
Uh-huh.
And we don't want that. But there is also benefits like that of the dollar being devalued.
Yeah, so it'll benefit shareholders, won't necessarily benefit the consumer so much, but especially if you want to travel abroad. But, if you're in the stock market, you're doing good. I mean, that's why the stock market went up 300 points already today.
Yeah, yeah. Got a little piece of that.
I'm sure you did, sir. I thought about you immediately when I read that.
Yeah, see, mine was 27 seconds though.
27 seconds and your workday's done.
Done. Yeah, well, it took me about 45 minutes to get it, to find it.
Okay. Still under an hour and your workday's done.
It's a beautiful thing, Cav.
I'm sure it is.
But yeah, when I go into McDonald's, Kevin, I like to look back there while they're making Big Macs.
Uh-huh.
And I just say to myself, 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles on a sesame seed bun. Mm.
And isn't that special sauce just Thousand Island dressing with a tad of horseradish?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And you know they're doing it on the chicken sandwich now. They got the Big Mac sauce on the chicken sandwich.
Yeah, it's a Big Mac made with 2 chicken patties.
Yeah, which looks like a bit much, but it looks good, man.
Yeah, until you try it.
It looks so good. They know too. I'm not leaving any on the plate, man. I'm gonna eat both of those chicken.
Dude, you realize that they have a corporate chef that experiments and concocts these things, and then they try it on test markets.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, somebody is called the McDonald's corporate chef.
That's crazy.
Right. What's your job? Oh, I invent shit for McDonald's.
Yeah, but do you think because when you talk about a chef, that's like an artist. That's like, kind of a hoity-toity gig.
Uh-huh.
Do you think when he tells his fellow chef graduates what he does, he's just like, yeah. I mean, is he the C student?
Well, he might have been the C student, but I'm sure he maybe says, you know what? Yeah, I work for McDonald's as a chef, but guess what? Here's my paycheck.
I mean, does he have to wear a name tag like everybody else at McDonald's?
That would be funny.
Yeah. Hey, Kev, I got to thinking, I was last week, I was watching this documentary about, how it was a big thing about 20 years ago about the moon landing being a hoax. And, a lot of scientists saying it's virtually impossible, especially on the first try, to do what they did July 20th, 1969 with Neil Armstrong and all that, Buzz Aldrin.
Right.
You got to thread so many needles to make that happen. They likened it to something like, a quarterback, no matter how good you are, a quarterback having, 285 completions in a row without any incompletions.
That would be a lot.
The probabilities just aren't there, scientifically is what they're saying.
Yeah.
And, they've accused, NASA of hiring Stanley Kubrick. A lot of people say it's Stanley Kubrick who, directed that scene, who put together that scene in a back lot somewhere in Hollywood.
Wow.
Yeah. So, got into the details about that. They wanted to keep Kennedy's promise. Remember Kennedy when he was elected president?
Yeah, I remember.
In 1961, he had that speech, by the end of this decade.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be on the moon. And, here it is, it's 1969 flips over and they still haven't made it to the moon yet. And NASA, who, wants to hit that target and also maintain their budget.
Okay.
They want to, they don't, if they don't make it to, they thought to themselves, if they didn't make it to the moon by when Kennedy said by the end of the decade, that maybe there'd be questions in Congress of whether this is worth it.
Well, and I think we also wanted to continue to be the leader in space exploration and space technology. We wanted to beat the Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Russian, and they're saying about that is the Russians realized, it was fucking lame anyway going to the moon. Why? You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
And that got me thinking. That whole thing got me thinking is, 60 years ago, 50, 60 years, we were obsessed with going to the moon. And then, 10 years after that, and billions and billions of dollars later, like 30 billion, it just stopped. And I was just like, I wonder why, is it, and maybe the Russians had something. Maybe it was just such a fucking boring place.
Well, I can't imagine that it will be a riveting. It's not like Vegas,
Yeah. Did you ever notice that? Like no astronaut ever returned. Like once they went there once, it was like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, you do know that Buzz Aldrin about a year and a half ago said that it was a fake.
Yeah, I
And
heard about that.
They shut him up fast.
Yeah. They just said old man, dementia, crazy guy. Blah, blah, blah. But you know, and you just think, hey man, if that was such a big deal that we had, you know, what was it? You know, why the moon? You know,
Well, because you can say you're the first to do it.
yeah, but you know, it's just like a big rock.
Well, and now they want to do it because they want to use it as a launching pad to get to Mars. That's what Musk wants to do.
Yeah, you know? Now we have billionaires going to war with each other to see who could be first. This will be interesting.
Yeah. You know, my thought process is I will never know if it was real or not, but I love the myth, you know.
I love the I love the intrigue about what, you know, to me it's like, you know, it's just such a do you think there's like an astronaut Yelp? You know, that the moon got rated as a horrible fucking vacation place.
Yeah. No customer service, no internet.
Long trip, no air. You got to shit in the bag. You get there, you can't find your fucking golf ball because it's the same color as the terrain. And there are no hot chicks whatsoever.
None.
Zero. I mean, I thought I was big shit being this astronaut. I go, there's no chicks.
None.
What am I doing?
Yeah, definitely.
I heard they're hot as hell on Venus. Why aren't we going there?
Oh, that's funny.
Hey, Kev, I got to tell you this because it was such a shocker to me. It was just so strange. And let me know if it's just me, if I'm just an asshole or not.
Oh, okay.
In the Galleria last week, I rarely travel anywhere outside of this, you know, western suburb bubble.
Yeah. Okay. For those of you that are not from Houston, the Galleria is the ritzy kind of high end mall that's right there in the kind of financial district.
It's where you and I used to travel every single day, 5 days a week for nearly 2 decades.
Yes.
And because that's where the radio station is. But I'm in there for a doctor's appointment. And I'm just sitting there minding my own business in the waiting room. And suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I see this guy. He's wearing a full suit and he's riding a skateboard. And I was just like, that is the weirdest thing, man. I couldn't get it out of my head. I'm like, how can you be grown man in a suit riding a skateboard?
He's an environmentalist.
It was just so, I just felt for the guy because I was just like, if this guy's married, his wife is definitely cheating on him. You know, you can't be in a suit on a skateboard guy.
Yeah, no.
It's way too beta soy boy of a move, isn't it?
Well, and if you fall and you put a hole in your suit, now you're out of suit.
Yeah, I'm just looking at, and we used to do the thing called man card. That'd be a man card violation, wouldn't it?
I believe it would be a man card violation.
I can't, seriously. Imagine if your own father left the house with a suit and a skateboard every single day.
Was he wearing the helmet too?
He had the helmet, dude.
Oh, you can't.
It was awful.
I can't do it.
You know what you would say to your mom if you saw your dad doing that? You'd be like, hey, mom, dad's completely out of the picture now. Just forget about him. I know I'm only 9 years old, but I'll be the man of the house from now on. I'll take care of things, okay?
For sure.
Because you know that would make your mom just shudder. Just like, oh man.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it.
Wearing the gloves and the elbow pads.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't do that. Not in a suit. Not in a suit.
Hey, Kev, I love this this new feature that we're doing. It really, I mean, and it's really helped me in terms of, going off the grid, because I know you'll just brief me the next Monday.
Yeah.
For those unaware, I don't have social media anymore. Pretty much, I post a little clip of what you can see or hear on this podcast on the Tuttle and Kline Instagram, which you should all be following, and also on the Tuttle and Kline Facebook page. But since I'm completely off the grid now, I just don't care about news, social media. I'm not reading any of it. Kline tells me the things that have happened over the past week that I may need or want to know. So what has happened?
Well, I kind of told you about the McDonald's thing, and then I told you about the Treasury Secretary pick. This was buried in, I know why it was buried in America because it's not happening here, but it could have worldwide ramifications. A massive ruling is slated for this week in Australia. They are voting in Australia, this is legislature, to make it illegal for anybody 16 years of age or under to have social media accounts.
Wow.
Their legislation is voting on that this week.
Okay, I like the idea, but that should be from the parents. The government just stay the fuck out.
There you go, buddy. I thought it would bring up a kind of a discussion, but I agree. I agree.
Again, it's an overreach. It's none of your fucking business. Stay out of the family situation. Let parents make those decisions.
Well, they're saying it's going to curtail online bullying. And how are they going to enforce it? Here's how they're going to enforce it. The companies that allow under 16-year-olds, they're going to fine them up to $32 million per incident.
Yeah, to me, it's because they want to, be able to brainwash kids, and they don't want kids getting the truth that they can get from social media. That's all that is.
Okay.
It's a control situation. It's an overreach. It's ridiculous. And obviously Australia didn't see the results of November 5th, which had international. People just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
People want to be left alone, or they're going to start killing. They really are. I feel that way. There's just so much anger out there. I hope it doesn't happen.
I hope so too.
But control freak. Yeah, I know, man. I know mama didn't hug you. I know maybe you had an uncle try to fiddle with your giblets or something like that. I get it. Okay. But you need to quit being a control freak and trying to rule over people, because you are putting yourself in jeopardy. Okay. Back the fuck off. That is the biggest message, loud and clear, that was sent a month ago.
So you just talked about back the fuck off. Saquon Barkley pretty much made the Rams defense do that on Sunday Night Football. Did you watch that?
I did not. I did not watch last night. I did watch some football yesterday, but I didn't see that game.
Did you see what he did?
No, what did he do?
Saquon Barkley, 255 rushing yards, 309 yards from scrimmage last night, 270-plus touchdown runs. Unbelievable. They couldn't tackle him. They couldn't tackle him.
That's crazy. Is it because they were bad, or is it because he's that good?
It's because two things. He's that good, and his O-line for the Eagles just dominated.
Crazy. And Kev, since we're talking about football too, again, Kansas City Chiefs. There is not one human being in the stands in Carolina when Carolina took the lead with like a minute something left that thought that, oh, we got this.
Yeah,
not one person.
Nope.
Not one. And there's not one person on the Kansas City sideline. There's not one person in the audience watching on TV that just doesn't absolutely positively know that if you give Patrick Mahomes that much time left, he's going to figure out a way to make a couple plays, put his best field goal kicker in the NFL in position to win the game.
Explain this to me, because you follow it. How can a team as absolutely horrendous as the Cowboys go on the road and beat a team that statistically is 3 times better than them in the Washington Commanders? How can the Texans lose at home to a team like the Tennessee Titans? It just doesn't make sense.
Well, the league office said our most valuable brand is in trouble. Let's write this script
Thank
You know,
you.
the 5 in a row is not, losses is not going to do for our most valuable brand. We got to get them a W.
Thank you.
No, in all seriousness, Kev, as somebody, I do a little bit of, I guess, as a hobby, because I live in Texas and I can't bet on sports.
Uh-huh.
I do some handicapping. And one of the handicapping tenets is, a contrarian move. And I want you to think about this and tell me if you can see it. When you play a home game, you got to worry about tickets. You're still at home and, you're exposed to the home situation. If things aren't going well, that's on your mind as you make your way to the stadium that morning of the game or whatever. But when you're on a road, you don't have to worry about getting family and friends tickets. It's a road game. And you're also isolated in the hotel room, focusing on one thing and one thing only, getting the victory. I honestly think that the cheering of the fans is not as big of a deal as being able to laser focus like that. Does that
Okay.
sound crazy?
No, I mean, it kind of makes sense. But what about the fact that you're sleeping in your own bed and you're still on your own schedule? You don't have to deal with a flight. You don't have to deal with a hotel check-in, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I get it that, yeah, home field advantage probably isn't as big of a deal as they want you to believe.
I think for professionals, and we've seen this with the Astros the last couple of years, they've been better on the road than at home.
Yeah.
With professionals, it doesn't matter as much. On the college scene, home field is much, much bigger of an advantage. It really is, especially now that you have conferences so spread out that you've got somebody that's got to travel from one side of the country to the other side of the country. And oh, by the way, 36 hours later, play a game when you're still slightly jet lagged.
Speaking of the college game, did you see the BYU Arizona State game?
I did not see the game. What happened?
Okay, so they're playing at Arizona State, and there's 6 seconds on the clock. ASU quarterback goes back, throws an incomplete pass, leaving 1 second on the clock. The fans rushed the field.
Oh.
Absolutely pandemonium on the field. It took them 18 minutes to clear the field so that BYU could do a Hail Mary. And their quarterback threw it short, and they caught the ball and were tackled on the 2-yard line.
Isn't that crazy?
Unbelievable.
I love that.
It was crazy. Yeah,
I know Arizona State won. I did not know it was that kind of drama at the end of the game.
Yeah, big time drama. 18 minutes to clear the field.
And that was at Arizona State.
Yeah, and they were taking the goalpost down, by the way, as they were rushing the field. They had to put the goalpost back up.
Oh, my God.
It was nuts.
Well, knowing Arizona State, Kev, a lot of that just could have been drunkenness.
Oh, it probably was.
They'd look up at the scoreboard. I think that's 3 zeros. I don't know. Phil, let's go.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a big party school, man.
Oh, it's a massive party school. Yeah. That's why I didn't go there.
That's one of those when those kids graduate with an Arizona State degree and they go in for their first job interview. Hey, I got a bachelor's degree at Arizona State, and the job interview person goes, "Yeah, you had fun, didn't you?"
Most definitely.
I do a lot of thinking, as you know, when I'm doing cardio.
Uh-huh.
And when I get caught in these own self rabbit holes, I really go down these and do a lot of thinking. And I think that I have discovered the biggest problem with society today.
The single biggest problem.
Yep.
What is it?
We're too soft.
Oh, okay.
And the reason we're too soft, Kev, is nobody gets hit by anybody anymore.
Like punched.
Yes.
Okay.
All we do now is we just, we fire off strong-worded emails. We make social media posts in all caps, and that's it.
Yeah.
The idiots on planet Earth who, back when we were young, used to get their ass beat, They are no longer regulated.
It's one of my favorite Bill Burr bits that he does where you can't punch women. But women, you should punch each other once in a while. Yeah, just to feel it. Just to feel it,
Now, I feel bad for women that you never get to feel that. You guys should do it to each other, just every once in a while. Just haul off and just blast one of your friends in the face, It's good for you.
And then you won't be such an asshole.
Exactly. But because, these idiots, they haven't been, regulated, the rest of us who are not idiots, we just have to suffer them in silence.
Yeah.
Because nobody can just, hey man, you had this coming, dude. Nobody can just pop you anymore.
That's the thing. No consequences.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you add that phenomenon plus the fact that, helmets and seat belts became completely necessary. This no longer allows Darwin to do his job.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. Oh, the Darwin Awards have just gone downhill.
We have 80% more idiots than necessary because of all the safety measures that we have taken.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of these were, hey man, Darwin just doing his thing.
Charles Darwin, the theory of evolution,
Yeah.
And if you don't evolve smartly, you're going to make bad decisions and end up hurting yourself or killing yourself.
Exactly. And because there's no weeding out, I mean, for centuries, they would be weeded out, Kev.
Of course I would.
Okay. And we wouldn't have to worry about them. We wouldn't have to suffer them in silence. But the worst thing about this is these idiots who should have been weeded out via, their own stupidity, but now are saved due to safety reasons. They are now procreating.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They are fucking other idiots and making little idiots.
It's a double the idiot.
Yeah. So now we are starting to really, really mushroom and go parabolic in regards to the numbers of idiots.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said it at the beginning. We're getting soft. That's what the Giants said about their performance yesterday. We're just a soft team. It is. Its softness is contagious.
Oh, it's a disease.
Yeah.
It's a disease. That's why you on every team. You were just talking about football right there. Every team has to have 2 or 3 guys that just have the unbelievable motor and are laying it out on every play.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't have those guys on each side of the ball, you got to have 2 or 3 guys that are just giving, spilling their guts out, giving everything they have, even to the detriment of their own body and health in order to play their best. Because then that becomes, look at Dave right there. I mean, he's spilling his guts out over here. I better kick up my game a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is an interesting thing that I just read the other day. We're getting too soft. You're talking about having a motor that goes, 100 miles per hour during the game. Did you realize that we are now 75% of Americans are considered obese?
Is it 75?
3 out of every 4 people in America are considered obese.
Here's the thing, though. You got to be careful with that number because I'm not exactly sure it's the best measure.
Oh, if you're talking body mass index, it's not. It's a bullshit measure.
Okay, because, Kev, I weigh about 192 pounds now.
Yeah.
At my apex, when I was eating all of Erica's delicious food and her dad Ben's delicious food, I hit 242 back in 2015, 2016.
Wow.
So I'm about 50 pounds less than I was at my apex. And when I was at that apex, I was considered obese by all those numbers.
Well, when Ronnie Coleman...
If you ever looked at me, would I qualify as obese?
No, but what I was getting ready to say was Ronnie Coleman, when he won 7 consecutive Mr. Olympias, by the body mass index graphic, he would have been considered obese. Mr. Olympia is not obese. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there are guys in pro sports that can run 4.5 40s that would be considered obese by that standard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still understand what you're talking about. It seems that we are bigger and it is ridiculous. Just go walking around in a very public place like a mall or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I always note, I was like, God, man, what is do people just not give a fuck anymore?
No, no, they won't find the time to do any exercising. I mean, it's very convenient to eat shit. It is. We just talked about McDonald's earlier. It's very convenient to go in and pay $1.25 for a hamburger and take all of your caloric intake for the day right there.
Yeah, that's all you should do all day then. If you're gonna eat like a combo meal at
Yeah.
McDonald's, that is what you should be eating all day.
That's it. You get one meal,
One meal. You're right. I
or
think
else go exercise.
exactly, and that's the thing that people don't understand. You can pretty much eat anything you want if you burn.
Yeah.
Like if I see like the opportunity to grab some donuts, either here at the clubhouse or going out of church yesterday, they had some donuts,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I'm grabbing those, man.
Sure.
I grabbed two of them
Nice.
because I know. I mean, Kev, I fast walk at least 12 to 13,000 steps a day.
That's perfect.
So I can pretty much eat anything that I want to eat.
You've got the physical softness that we're talking about. You've got the mental softness that we started with on this conversation. I mean, yeah, just harden up a little bit. That's all I got to do. Harden up a little bit.
Yeah, you can have that McDonald's combo meal and go for a fucking walk.
Yeah. Really easy.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no reason I'm at an Astros game or something like that, and I'm walking past thousands of people, and I can't help but think to my head, more than half of these people will not have a long, satisfying life because of what they're doing right now to themselves.
Oh, the thing that really disgusts me, and I sometimes don't go to the grocery store because of this. The person that's riding around in the little cart with the basket on the front, and guess where they're going? To the bakery.
Yes,
Fuck you.
they have a clearance on the Entenmann's.
Yes.
And they'll just sit there and they'll shovel things into their little basket from that Entenmann's clearance, 3-day hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And you'll just look at them when kind of seething a little bit and going, you're the fucking reason all our health costs, care costs are so high.
I do say that.
Do you say that?
Oh my God, I'm a judgmental prick when it comes to that.
My premiums would be a 1/3 of what they are if you would just stop shoveling that shit in your mouth, you fucking Jabba the Hutt.
We are not making friends today, but you know what? It's true.
Somebody's got to say it, man.
I know, right?
And you know what? If you're the fucking rolling Jabba the Hutt that listens to this podcast and we lose you, fuck you. We don't care. You'll be dead in 3 weeks anyway.
Wow.
God, man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Kev. Let's break this up right now with a top three.
Just when you thought they couldn't count any higher, it's Tuttle and Kline's top three.
The visual of Jabba the Hutt on one of those things.
And for those of you that used to listen to us on 93Q, this is what's in our head while we're giving you the family-friendly stuff.
I'm wondering if Trish knows how to use that AI now, can take a picture of Jabba the Hutt, put it in one of those grocery yards, and post that right here. Trish, if you can do that, that'd be great.
Here it is. Keep shoveling, Jabba.
Me and Norman from there, that Jabba.
Awesome.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Top three best memories from your childhood. Top three best memories from your childhood. And Kev, they should like jump out, because you have minimal memories now of your childhood.
Right.
So whatever you do remember should like stick out.
Well, I mean, the first two that came to mind, immediately, and I don't know why this always comes to my head, but there was a Christmas that we had, and I got a Washington Redskins terry cloth robe. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. And
okay, why? I have to know. How does a kid from St. Louis, Missouri, when the Rams are playing,
mhm.
get a Washington Redskins robe?
The Cardinals were still playing there then.
Oh, was it the Cardinals?
It was the Cardinals were still playing there. See, the Cardinals were originally from St. Louis before the Bidwells moved them to Arizona.
With Jim Hart as quarterback.
That's right. Mel Gray, Jim Hart. Yeah, very, very cool.
I remember Conrad Dobler, one of my favorite players ever.
Big time.
Dan Deerdorf, didn't he play for them?
He did. Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
He did.
Okay.
Terry Metcalf was the running back.
Oh, was he a great running back, man?
Yeah. Yeah. These are legends of the game, and we never won a freaking game, man. They sucked it. When I was growing up, man, the Cardinals were terrible.
That's why Conrad Dobler was so angry.
Right?
He's like, I fucking crush my soul every weekend and we lose.
Okay, so you want to know, I know you want to know, how does the St. Louis boy like the Washington Redskins? It wasn't so much that I was a Redskin fan. I wanted the robe because I wanted to turn it inside out and act like I was Hong Kong Phooey.
He had the red robe just like the Redskins, the maroonish robe.
Exactly.
Hong Kong Phooey, quicker than the human eye. Hong Kong Phooey. Oh my God, that was Kev. You know who voiced that?
Scatman Crothers.
Scatman Crothers. Oh my God, what a great memory that is, man.
Yeah.
For those of you who aren't aware, the movie The Shining, the black dude Scatman Crothers was the voice of Hong Kong Phooey. I love that, man. Boy, you just had like a bunch of memories pour in from the obscure Saturday morning cartoons. Like I just remember Grape Ape, and Speed Buggy.
Yep.
Wow, great shit, man. All right, that's cool. That's a good memory.
Second one that I remember immediately just jumped right into my head. We were driving as a family of unit of 5, my brother, my sister, and me, and my mom and dad. And brother, sister, and I are in the back seat. And for some strange reason, my mom put the cake that she had baked for the picnic we were going to on the back seat floor instead of like putting it in the trunk or something. And my sister put her foot in it. My dad was so pissed. And we started calling it shoe cake from there on out.
Did you have to throw the cake away?
Oh, yeah, they threw the cake away.
No, you can eat around it. You can eat around the sides.
She put her whole fucking foot in it.
Oh, okay. All right. So, okay.
It was ruined, bro.
Does she remember that? Does she remember that?
Oh, the whole family remembers it. Shoe cake? Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's hilarious.
She was like, she must have maybe like 4 or 5 years old.
Okay, she doesn't remember it then, does she?
I think she does. Oh,
Holy shit. So that's one of her early memories.
Yeah.
Was it a store-bought cake or did your mom make it?
No, she made it. And being a Midwestern boy yourself, Timmy, you probably remember these, where you bake the sheet cake and then you poke holes in it with your toothpick and you pour Jell-O over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a Jell-O cake.
Oh, wow. So your mom put the time and effort into it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Shoe cake.
That's awesome. Great memory, man.
And then the worst memory of my childhood.
No. These are the best memories.
Yeah, I know, but it's a great memory that turned into be my worst memory.
Oh, okay.
I had struck out 3 times. We're playing the championship game in Little League of this tournament, and we are in the championship game. I've struck out 3 times. We're down 2-1. Martin Nielsen is the pitcher for Afton Tool and Die. He fucking threw gas. I mean, the kid was just, he was your height, Tim, and just threw BBs. And he fucking threw a pitch. The bases were loaded. He threw a pitch and accidentally hit my bat. And I got a triple, bases clearing triple. We won. And my dad's like, my son can hit. And that was the end of my life.
Okay, so it's a great memory because you had that moment, that glory, but it also turned your dad into a fucking monster.
Everything was baseball from there on out.
Shit.
Oh yeah, it's one of the chapters in the book that I thought I was gonna be done with already. I've been working on it for 15 years, Tim. You know me. I'm not the most fleet of typer. But
Yeah.
no, I say I start the book with "Damn you, Mark Nielsen."
That's so funny.
How do you seriously? How do you strike out 3 times and then all of a sudden hit a triple? You don't. He hit my bat.
It hit your bat.
Yeah, he hit my bat. That's what he did.
You just stuck the bat out.
I had my eyes closed, dude. I guarantee it.
Kev, this isn't even one of my best memories, but it's definitely honorable mention. Is a similar thing happened when I was 10 years old. When I was 10 years old, the nastiest pitcher in Little League, his name was Jeff Jonas.
Okay.
And he, like you said, this guy was 6 feet tall at the age of 12.
Yeah.
I mean, and he threw absolute fire. Most kids couldn't even step into the batter's box, or they were the edge of the batter's box, ready to bail out if anything came toward them. He had one of those pitches that whistled.
Oh, you're scared shitless. You are.
People were just so scared, Jeff Jonas. And I'm 10 years old at the time. I'm just my first year of Little League, that level.
Uh-huh.
And he's the 12-year-old just monster. And Kevin, I swung. I stood in there because I was like, okay, and I swung, and I had a big barrel bat, and it hit just sweet spot of the bat. And I'll never forget the feeling, because there is no feeling.
Right. Yeah.
It just hit such the sweet and just exploded off the barrel. And it was over the fence within like 2 seconds. It was over the fence.
Well, yeah, because the faster the ball comes in, the harder it goes out.
And Kev, I remember it was like my first over the fence home run in that league.
Uh-huh.
I did it in the minors or whatever, when you're, 9, 10, 8, 9 years old or whatever it is. I had a couple there, but this was my first one in that league. And huge crowd in the lights at night. And I just remember everybody just freaking out that this 10-year-old Timmy Tuttle, who, he's got the skills. I was the first pick in the draft for the age group. I was the first pick. So I had a little hype going in.
Sure.
And just crushed one off of Jeff Jonas. And I remember Jeff Jonas, as I'm round the bases, looking at me going, what the fuck?
That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, that is not in the script, man.
Uh-huh.
And similar to your story is a bit of a fallout. Is immediately from that point on in our little town in Wisconsin, I became known.
Yeah, of course.
And up to that point, my older sister Tina and I were buds. But suddenly she's no longer Tina. She is Timmy Tuttle's older sister.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's the point where she started not liking me. When I became this baseball guy.
Yeah, and took away her identity.
Exactly. I believe that's where the dissension started.
Wow.
Because up to that point, I loved Tina. Tina,
Uh-huh.
She would come home from school and she would show me the stuff she was learning. So I was always like 3 years ahead in terms of academics. Like I knew what was coming.
Sure.
So we were buds. And then from that point on, after crushing that home run off of Jeff Jonas, it kind of went downhill with her.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But yeah, Kev, you know how it is, man. You don't even feel it.
Totally know how it is. Oh, yeah.
And even to this day, decades later, I still have that feeling of not having a feeling.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's one of the most amazing things. It's kind of like for those of you who golf, when you just hit one on the screws in the center and it just goes right down the middle and it has that smoke, trajectory on it. It's just gone.
That's just an amazing feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that was an honorable mention. I'm so sorry I covered all of that in an honorable mention, Kev. My bad.
No, I had my 3 already done, and I liked it that you could relate to it because you had something similar happen.
Yeah. Now, on a similar note, one of my 3 was a baseball moment.
Okay.
It was in between 7th and 8th grade, and this was like the 3rd league I was playing with. I played regular Little League. I played my Catholic schools team, and I played, the summer, town thing, sponsored by the high school,
Okay.
all that stuff. So it was the all-star game for that. And I remember Patrick Foy. He was catching for me. Now he was kind of like, I like him. He's a great guy, but he's kind of my rival.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was kind of my rival in school because his girlfriend, Sarah Matthews, I used to have a massive crush on Sarah Matthews.
Okay.
But this was a day where he was my catcher. I pitched an absolute perfect game. Okay, as an all-star, they let me pitch 4 innings, first 4 innings, 12 up, 12 down, Kev.
Nice.
And 7 of them were strikeouts.
That's a game.
But not only that, I had 2 home runs over the fence.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah. And not only that, but his girlfriend, Sarah Matthews, was in the stands watching.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And his sister, Molly Foy, the most popular girl in the school.
Yeah, I've heard Molly Foy's name mentioned before.
Yeah, was also in the stands, and they both watched it.
Yeah.
So that was like, I got some real in school, middle school, rep points there.
Yeah. Timmy T had his choice of women there.
I still had the bowl haircut, and I was still awkward and weird. But at least at that point they were talking about, oh yeah, the kid can play ball.
Yeah, he's got some cred now.
Yeah, the kid can play ball. Speaking of, that was in between 7th and 8th grade. Speaking of 8th grade, the next childhood memory happened also between 7th and 8th grade. A little later, I think it was, it was 8th grade towards the end of the year when it finally started to warm up in Shorewood, Wisconsin.
Uh-huh.
And we had a place called Atwater Beach, right on Lake Michigan, just up the road from me. I mean, I live just off of Lake Drive in Shorewood, north of Milwaukee.
Okay.
And we went, before you go down to the beach area at Atwater Beach, there's a bunch of woods there that you can like veer off the path and just go have fun in the woods. And I remember there were like, 6 or 7 of us. It was I think it was like 3 guys and 4 girls. And we decided to just stop right there and play truth or dare. And I remember it was like my first real kiss, like French kiss with tongue and shit like that.
Yeah.
With both Megan, who was my age, and then her 1 year younger sister, Maureen. I made out with both of them.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know how it is when you're like in middle school and you're like French kissing, you're a little twin, like instantly.
Wow.
So you gotta pull the shirt out, and you gotta kind of bend over and walk a little bit because you're pup 10. I remember I told her I gotta go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom and I had the thing a little, and I used the waistband of my tidy whities to pin the thing against my belly, and then walked back to them.
See, now the beautiful thing about that story right there is that even in 8th grade, Timmy T had to use the waistband to pin his you-know-what against his belly. Had I been in that situation, mine would have just barely stretched above the pubic line.
Do you have a hernia or something? Clyde's got a hernia or something.
Damn Tim Tuttle.
That's so funny. I just remember that, like it started to rain, so we had to stop, and I was just like, damn it, God, why? Hey,
Yeah.
There's still 2 other girls here. Yeah.
Good Lord, ruined the best game of your life.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't wait another 15, 20 minutes?
Exactly.
Because the other one was Sheila, and she's hot too.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
Megan, Maureen, and Sheila.
Yeah, Sheila. I wasn't so down with the Kathy girl. But I did pretty good. The M&M sisters were really cute. Anyway, that was number two. Number three, and I think I've told you about this before, is sophomore year of high school. At the end of the basketball season, with another like 2 or 3 weeks to play, they brought me up from JV as a sophomore to play varsity.
Okay.
And I got called up, and the damnedest thing, and this is one of those that is actually out there on VHS somewhere. My mom's got it somewhere. She doesn't know where. They got the back then, and maybe they do it now too, Kev, where you have the high school's TV station there. There's a TV station at the high school.
Okay. Yeah.
You ever heard of that?
Yeah. I've actually spoken at my alma mater's journalism class, which is now not journalism. It's my multimedia.
Yeah. So I recorded it because they always did every game. It was a pretty big thing because, it's basketball in Indiana.
Yeah. Big.
So it's kind of a big deal.
Didn't you say the basketball net's the official state flag?
The basketball hoop is the official state flag of Indiana. Yeah. Whereas Texas is football, in Indiana, it's basketball.
Yeah.
But I got called up to varsity, and I had that on tape. The radio announcers were talking about me. Number 22, we got little Timmy Tuttle here. He just bought up from junior varsity. I've seen him perform, because the junior varsity plays right before varsity, Kev. And he said, I've seen him perform before. He's got some ups. He's an exciting player. This, that, and the other. Let's see what he can do. And now I got called in midway through the second quarter. They got put in, and because I'm the sophomore, got a bunch of cheers. People from that were sophomores in my class were excited about it, that one of theirs was playing varsity and stuff like that. And about a minute and a half, 2 minutes into my floor time, I got a breakaway.
Yeah.
I stole it. And this is at a time where I could now dunk. And Kev, I remember, and it's just slow motion and out of body right now. There's nobody around me. It's just me and the basket in front. And I'm on the left side, and I come towards the right, and I do a tomahawk dunk. And the roar is a sound I will never forget.
Awesome.
The whole place just was going insane that this sophomore just flushed one in his first look-see at varsity basketball. This is great. It was just a huge moment in my life.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I'll never forget the sound. It was a deafening type sound. And just for a moment, I was the guy.
And you parlayed this into Molly Foy, or who got Timmy T's attention?
Well, in sophomore year, the girl was Susan Klippel.
Oh, Susan Klippel.
She was dating Donnie, our starting quarterback.
Okay.
But from that point on, she, I existed.
Not anymore, Donnie.
Yeah, I existed, and just for that, it was just another 2 or 3 months left in the school year. I was the guy.
That's awesome.
Walking down the hall and everything that. You can hear the whispering and all that shit. It was really cool.
Yeah.
So those are the best childhood memories, Kev.
I think those are solid childhood memories.
Thank you very little. Let's talk. Oh, do we have time, Kev? I don't even. Did time get away from us?
We're good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Kev, I watched, on my retro movie binge that I've been doing of late.
Yes.
I watched a movie from our time that just ripped my guts out.
Oh, what movie is it?
Do you remember the movie Singles from the early 90s?
Absolutely. Great soundtrack. Most Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. That it was set in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken.
Set in Seattle. It was about, our generation, Generation X, coming to age type movie, after college, trying to find their way in the world and meeting people and everything like that. And I remember watching that when it came out. I mean, it was right up our pipeline.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you and I, we were early 20s and they were speaking to us. That was our music. That was, our situation that we were in socially and everything like that. And I was just watching, and I was like, oh man.
Wasn't
This
Matt
is
Dillon in that?
Matt Dillon played the lead singer of Citizen Dick. That was the name of the band. And Eddie Vedder
Uh-huh.
and a couple other dudes from Pearl Jam were his bandmates in it.
Yeah.
And Alice in Chains, they were on stage for one of the scenes, and it just, it was Lane Staley when he was still looking healthy.
Right.
And then Chris Cornell, these are the reasons why it ripped my guts out, is here's Lane Staley from Alice in Chains before the heroin took him in a healthy situation. And there's Chris Cornell just piping it out, an amazing voice before he committed suicide, just a few years ago.
Yeah.
And the sound, and they're going through all the couple stuff. Bridget Fonda's in that movie.
That's the girl, Bridget Fonda.
Yeah, she was in the movie, and they're all going through the whole trying to find somebody compatible, and the stuff that they were going through, and I was just like, damn, man, how is that 30 years ago?
Right.
How is that 30 years ago? And I was just like, wow, that's so crazy. I mean, it just, all of that together, swirled together. It was actually hard to watch, like, from an emotional level.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. I mean, because when you're talking about Lane Staley and Chris Cornell, two of the greatest rock singers of all time.
Ah, man. I mean, one of the most powerful voices of all time is Chris Cornell.
Big time.
Spoon Man.
Oh my God. Is he here?
Outshine, outshine. Cause I'm going hungry.
That's a great song.
Temple of the Dog. That was their
That's
all-star
it.
thing.
Yeah. Yep.
God, those were the days, man. I mean, the only thing I don't like about grunge is it kind of destroyed rock and roll as we know it. I mean, it kind of took the metal that we liked, Kev, and just said bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, you no longer matter anymore. And I liked our heavy metal, but God, that was such great music, man.
The first song I ever played in radio was "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
Was it really?
Yeah. Yeah. I look back at a lot of the firsts that I had in my life. The first referee that I ever announced in a professional fight was John McCarthy, Big John McCarthy. That doesn't happen often. First song I ever played became the biggest song of a genre.
That's crazy. How does that? Wow. Did you know? Was it early on in its run, or did you already know? Okay, this thing is huge.
It was in college. It was college radio.
No shit, dude.
College radio. Yeah.
No shit. So it's before Nirvana became Nirvana.
Absolutely.
No shit. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't even know that.
So here are songs that I played before anybody really even knew who these people were. Smells Like Teen Spirit. Jerry Was a Race Car Driver.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Cool.
That was kind of like the last episode we were talking about. I was one of the very few people in the movie theater watching Reservoir Dogs.
That's right.
Where I was like, holy shit, this is different. Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I remember my first song, Thunder 94, Nashville's new rock, Thunder 94. Before Kevin and I, just a couple of months before Kevin and I started doing mornings together on that same station, I was doing some weekend stuff. And the first song that I played was Space Hog in the Meantime.
Great tune.
I love that song. And still to this day, and all of the stuff from that playlist in 96, Kev, when we got together for the first time, anytime I hear it now, it's just vivid memories.
Absolutely.
It takes you back, and it marks, the beginning of my radio career and us doing morning radio together. I mean, it means a lot. Mother.
Yeah.
By Tracy Bonham. I heard that last week for the first time in probably 10, 15 years. And I was like, and I remember that one specifically because that was the moment where I liked Kevin Kline. Because when I really listened to Kevin, it was like right after Kevin and I met. And I remember Kevin was doing nights at the time. And he goes, yeah, here's Tracy Bonham. It's Mother Squared. You do the math. Nashville's New Rock 3094. You said that.
Yeah,
You
I know.
said that.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. That you like that.
I was like, man, I was like, this dude's cool, man. And then I got to know him and realized he is not that cool.
Not at all.
He had that one moment.
Exactly. He peaked early.
But it was the way Kevin said it. I mean, Kevin had that look, man. He just had that alt rock look, and his voice was just perfect for it.
Hey, as we get older and you go back and you listen to songs that we played at the very beginning of our career, you're talking about having an appreciation for them even more now. For me, it's Alanis Morissette. I really wasn't that big of a fan when she first came out and when we were playing it in its, infancy. Now, oh my God, man, Jagged Little Pill is a great CD.
Kev, I liked that Jagged Little Pill immediately because I was like, okay, here is somebody who poured their guts out.
Yeah.
On a record. Just let it all out. And I thought it was amazing. I was in shock at the honesty because back then, you particularly women artists, you struggle to be that honest. You got to be careful being that honest.
Very true.
And I guess her honesty made that one of the highest selling records of all time. Isn't it still somewhere on the list of like one of the highest selling records of all time?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It really is. Did it ever ruin it for you that she made those songs up about Dave Coulier?
I wish I would never knew it was Coulier. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The guy she went down on in a theater was the ass clown from Full House. This guy right here.
Yep.
And I was like, really? All of that pain and anger for this guy?
Canadians, I got to tell you.
Exactly. And anybody upright with a hockey mullet. You got a shot. Yeah. When I remember hearing that song or hearing that record, the whole thing was just great. I mean, just about every song on that record, I was like, oh, wow. She's seeing that. That unfortunately was her problem is she let it all go on that record.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing left.
Yeah. Can you top it? Hardly ever.
You'll never be able to top it,
Right.
It's kind of like, I love Metallica.
Yeah.
And they've had a couple, since the early 90s, couple songs, couple cuts that are pretty, good. But man, they were the best when they were like watching 24-hour news and being angry and writing angry and singing angry and rocking angry.
So then let me guess, your favorite Metallica CD is And Justice for All.
Hell yeah, isn't it? And yours?
Either that or Ride the Lightning.
Ride the Lightning's up there too. And anything to me though, Kev, after Black album, 91, Enter Sandman. I mean, they're not angry anymore because they're multi-millionaires. It's hard to wake up and be pissed off when you wake up in a 10,000 square foot house with a huge pool, 17 rooms. You got your own chef and, you're going to go drive away in your Maserati to run down to the store and get some coffee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Your edge is gone.
You're not angry anymore. And unfortunately, that happens to a lot of artists. Eminem was so much better when he was poor.
Yeah. Oh man, early Eminem, amazing.
Yeah, and if you do too good, out front, you're just chasing that dream. It's kind of like Orson Welles' Citizen Kane.
Uh-huh.
Such an incredible movie that he never could do anything after that.
Many critics say that it's the greatest movie ever made.
It's. I mean, to me, I can understand why he eventually just became a parody of himself, particularly lampooning his weight.
Yeah.
Because he did it right. That's why I have so much respect for Tarantino.
Uh-huh.
Is he's able to maintain it.
Yeah.
You know, you figure after Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction that this guy could have easily just been like, I can't top that shit.
Right.
But he has.
Yeah, no, they're rare talents that can do that. I think Christopher Nolan is one of those folks that can continuously up his game. Yeah,
Kev, Led Zeppelin.
very strong case right there, sir. Yes.
I mean, how, you know, first off, you look at one and it shocks the world, the
Right.
Led Zeppelin one. You know, right out of the box, good times, bad times. And Kev, I've heard from the old school radio people when they spun the full record, you know, back in 1968, 69, when it came out, they listened to Dazed and Confused and they were like, oh God, this fucking changes things forever.
Yeah.
And then they come out with Zeppelin 2 and then Zeppelin 3 and then Zeppelin 4, one of the all-time selling records, you know.
Well, I was just getting ready to say, when your fourth album becomes the greatest album in the history of rock.
Yeah, your fourth album.
Number 4.
And then, Kev, a couple albums after that, I mean, and even though it's not as mainstream, but those who are true Zeppelin fans and those who are real music fans and understand, I mean, Physical Graffiti, the double album, is the greatest, like, continuous track to track piece of artwork ever made in history, in my opinion.
Well, I'm glad that you say that, because then I can be considered a true Led Zeppelin fan, because Physical Graffiti for me is their all-time greatest work.
Yeah, Kevin, that's how you know, when you talk, you know, and I get this a lot because I guess I'm kind of known as a Zeppelin fan.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
And people will talk to me about Led Zeppelin and I'll ask, hey, well, what's your favorite record? If they say Led Zeppelin 4, I'm like, okay, you're commercial. You're mainstream. Anybody that tells me it's Physical Graffiti, then we can bond.
Yeah. But I think my bonding with you on that would probably end with my favorite song on that, because it is very commercial. I think Kashmir is one of the greatest songs ever written.
Oh, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. It is,
but
one
it's not a deep cut, though.
It's not. Well, no, it's widely regarded across the board as one of the greatest pieces of music in history.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Kev, just down the road on that record is In the Light, and you know.
I know.
I mean, in the Light, I remember hearing that for the first time when I was a kid, and I just being mesmerized by that song.
Yeah.
And just playing it over and over and over and over again.
Let me ask you this, because that has a very Middle Eastern Physical Graffiti has a very Middle Eastern overtone to it.
Sure.
Did you like the when the Beatles went and experimented with Ravi Shankar? I love that era of the Beatles too.
I love it too.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. You know, the Beatles were incredible composers also. They were brilliant. They were genius. A lot of that was acid, though. They were. I mean, these guys were literally taking 5-6 tabs of acid, and then just going into the studio and being creative and throwing everything against the wall. And Epstein, was it Epstein?
Brian Epstein.
Yeah, he was the producer, wasn't he?
I believe so. Yeah.
And give him credit. I mean, because he had hours and hours and hours of material to work with, and he produced these things into incredible records.
Yep, they are.
Incredible records. Yes, yeah, Kev, I do like that sound. Even when Plant and Page got together in the 90s and they had their Middle Eastern rendition of a lot of their 70s songs, it sounded really cool.
Right. No, it does. It sounds phenomenal. It is such, even when they did their stuff in the 90s where they took the old school stuff, it's such a departure. It makes it sound so different.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another testament to why they were such great artists, Kev, is they're able to take their stuff and make it sound completely different, and it still is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Well, Metallica did that with their symphonic with the San Francisco Orchestra with Michael Kamen. That was cool. That was cool.
That was very cool.
Yeah.
But Kev, back to you giving regards to Kashmir as the greatest song. When you can get the London Symphony Orchestra to bypass any payment whatsoever just because they want to work with Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
that tells you everything you need to know about Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Because like Tchaikovsky and Beethoven and Mozart and all of those brilliant composers from hundreds of years ago, hundreds of years from now, they'll still be playing Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I have the recording of the London Philharmonic doing symphonic Led Zeppelin and doing symphonic basically any high level European artist. I think they did some Rolling Stones. They did some Supertramp. It's really cool.
Yeah,
but they have a whole album. Yeah,
isn't that great?
It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Boy, that's fun. All right, Kev, we got to wrap up now.
Okay.
This has been a blast as usual. Anything coming up on your side hustle, your other side hustle, the Fuzzy Mike podcast? This is a great podcast where Kevin Kline delves into true crime and mental health issues. What do you got?
Well, I'm going to do a real short episode this week because we're traveling on Thursday, and so I just want to get it out there. I actually driving the Corvette down to Houston this week, and I'm officiating a wedding on Friday.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. We'll be there for a whole 25 hours.
Well, here's what I want you to do. Stop on by. Let me take care of the Corvette while you're doing it.
Of course. Yeah.
I'll make sure she's washed and gassed up and everything like that. Just let me have her for about an hour.
Of course. Yeah.
I'll turn Beltway 8 into the fucking gumball rally, man.
Yeah. Give me her for about an hour, Klein. You'll need new brakes. You'll need new tires. You'll need new.
Kev, you ever seen Cannonball Run?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There'll be a 4th edition to this movie.
But no, I'm going to talk about things that I'm grateful for because it's Thanksgiving week. So yeah, I'm going to talk about that kind of stuff. Just real short. Yeah.
Great. Also do us a favor, please. As we alluded to, we have an Instagram, Tuttle and Kline, Tuttle, the sign and Kline, Kline, Instagram and Facebook. Go follow us, like us, check out these awesome merchandise that we have on Tuttle and Kline's Facebook. You can order that, make great stocking stuffers. I know a lot of you are like, well, I got to figure out something to put in the stocking this year. Nothing better than a Tuttle and Kline mug for that stocking.
That's right.
Subscribe to us, give us a rating. Hey, do us a favor if you're on one of the platforms for this podcast, go ahead and download it. I know a lot of you press play, but we appreciate it if you would download it. That's how they keep score in this industry and business. Kevin Kline, anything else?
No, sir. That is it.
Have an outstanding Thanksgiving, my brother.
You too, sir.
That's it for this episode of the Tuttle and Kline Show. See you this Wednesday for an all-new episode. And you can get more Kline on his podcast, The Fuzzy Mike, with new episodes on Tuesday. Stay fuzzy, friends. And thanks for listening to the Tuttle and Kline Show. Yo. All right, take the yo out.